Hi Emily, I'm Blackie, and you asked in one of my recent emails from you how to get started doing YouTube videos. Well, this is a video response for you to give you a few ideas or at least a couple of pointers that have helped me. Okay, let's start off with the first piece you need. You need a camera. And cameras can be expensive or inexpensive depending. When I first started out, I was using a regular photography camera that happened to have a video function on it. So my very first videos were shot with that. Today you can get, camera phones, you can get cell phones that have got in it, you can get all kinds of stuff. So the camera is the big thing, and you don't need to be, rich to have one. You can look around eBay and etc. and locate something. You need something that at a minimum does HD, because the YouTube videos seem to need that. Okay? Now, how many pixels and all like that? I don't know. I'm not that astute. But you get a camera that you can afford that will produce a decent quality picture with good sound so that you don't have to yell at the camera. That's the problem with my first camera, was the microphone went out on it and I was sitting there just yelling at it, and you could barely hear me on the video. So, get your camera. The second thing you're going to need is a tripod. Now, this don't have to be a big, expensive endeavor. Look around garage sales, flea markets, eBay, Craigslist, and etc. You can usually pick them up fairly cheaply used. This particular one I picked up for 50 cents because the little thing that hooks to the bottom of the camera and sits in to dock was gone. Most people don't realize that that screw hole in the bottom of the camera is a 1/4 screw, so I simply drilled a hole and put a 1/4 bolt through it, and I manually screw it on and off. That's about it. But a tripod allows you to set up and have the camera in a stationary platform. That's important because you don't want the camera moving around or, God forbid, falling because a little wind came up. So you want a stable camera setup. And most of these fold up really small, and they're easy to transport, and don't weigh hardly anything. So you should be able to easily carry it with you or put it in a backpack, something like that. My biggest tripod, the one that it's on now, was actually from a television film crew, from a lady that had been a cameraman for a local TV station for like 12 years, and she had retired, and I picked up that tripod for $12 from her at a garage sale. It was designed for one of them 60-pound video cameras, so putting my little bitty video camera on top is just kind of funny. But it's rock solid and stable, and that's what you want. You want to set it up to view you and not have it wobbling or tip over. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is some way to protect your camera. Now, back to the cameras. I recently purchased off Amazon one of the GoPro lookalikes, and they're not that expensive. I think I paid like under $50, and it comes with the waterproof case. That's the reason I got it, because I intend to start doing some canoeing videos and I didn't want to take my camera out in the water. And it comes with the little mount. See, the actual camera's locked in. It comes out, it has a little view screen in the back. It's an HD camera, and it was under $50 for me to get it off Amazon. So, look around and find what you need. Don't buy more than you need, just buy what you can afford. Okay? At least until you're sure on what you're doing. Now, next, any other hardware? Yes, software. Make sure that your computer has a pretty good connection and that it will upload videos to YouTube. No sense going and getting all this equipment and then finding out your computer won't do it. I had that happen in the beginning. So what you want to do is take a video on somebody's camera or whatever. All of my stuff record onto SD or micro SD cards. And make sure that you've got a way to put that on your computer, either by the adapter or the SD slot, or like you saw those yellow pigtails, most of the cameras have a little cable that plugs from camera directly into computer, and you can download it that way. But that's all the hardware that you need. Now, let's talk about framing the shot. That's next. Okay, now framing the shot. All that means is making sure that everything's in focus and where it should be. So, simple rule of thumb, you want the light coming from to your target. So, I'm the target, or what I'm working on. I want the light coming from the camera toward me, not behind me. If this background back here is too bright, I look dark. If I'm in the dark, you can't see me. So you want the light shining on my face, okay? Put the light on your face. Next, if your camera has a view screen where you can turn around and see yourself like I am right now, you can figure out where I'm at in the frame. I can see that's the edge, and that's the edge over there, and that's the edge up there. But what if I don't? That little GoPro doesn't. It has a little bitty view screen in the back. It's kind of hard to see. That's where you got to cheat a little. Now, your background should be something interesting, but not too dynamic. You want it to be interesting for your audience to look at, but you don't want some guy over here riding tricycle juggling, because the people will start watching it instead of you. So, make it interesting, colorful, pretty, but not too pretty, you know what I mean? Now, I'm going to be in the middle of the shot, maybe off center. And if I can't see myself, like I said, I need a reference point. So, I cheat. I have a hat, and I say, okay, I'm going to be right about here, and this is about head high on me. So I come over, I take my handy dandy knife, I stick it, and I hang my hat on it. Now I go back and I look at the camera and I adjust the camera to make sure that that's got about a foot above my head, and I want to see from about waist up. You don't need to see your feet unless you're doing something big where you need to see all of it. But for you to talk to your audience, you want to see from about the waist up, and a little bit over the head and a little bit on the side. So I can stretch my arms out and I'm still in frame. So I would be centered. So I will get my hat centered up. Then I will come back, put my hat on, and begin to do it. Now for editing, when you go to shoot your video and you're trying to look at it on the editing program, you need a start and stop point. Here's what I do. You may come up with your own little trick. I stick my hand up and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once I get to 5, I drop my hand and I mentally count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I start talking. In my early videos, my friend was doing my editing for me. And I would go 1, 2, 3, 5. And before my hand even got out of the picture, I'd go to talking. And he's trying to use an editing program that's not that precise, and he's trying to split hairs to catch me in mid, So, what you need to do is have some little system so that when I get in frame and I'm in focus, do a little countdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and start talking. That when you go to edit, you've got enough space in the front you can crop where you want to start. Okay? Same thing at the end. When you finish what you're done saying and you say goodbye, do a 10 count and then move on. And that way I can crop it on both ends, and have the video. It looks more professional that way. Okay? So this is how to frame it. To recap, we want a nice background, but not too bright. We want the sun coming toward us. We want to frame from our belt to above our head. We want to be in the center of the shot. If I'm showing something, I want it in the center and me to the side like this, like if I was showing this tree. That's how to frame your video. Next, we're going to talk about content. Okay, Emily. Now, when you're going to do content, what you've got to say, and etc. You want to be able to show it to them in some way they can see clearly. Now, I've taken a contrasting color and put down so that when I put my target on it, it stands out and you can see it easier against the background. Brown on brown would be hard to see. If you've got something that's real ta-da and pizzazzy, it can sit on just about anything. But if it's kind of, you want a contrasting color, okay? Next, remember when you were in school and you were doing book reports and stuff and they talked about the highlights, the points you're going to hit? Well, you got to do that again. It helps not to ad-lib on camera, unless you're just somebody who naturally can do that very easily. What you need to do is have your points already set up. Here's what I want to talk about. This knife. This is the points about this knife I like. This knife I like. Do. List them. This is the points I do not like. Do. List them. Now, to keep the video short and to the point, I want to, up here on the side of the camera tripod where you can't see it, I want a board or something, and on it I'll write my bullet points in case I have a mental breakdown. You know, nothing irritates people more than people going, oh yeah, and that, that's not what you want to say. You want to talk to the camera. I am not talking to this camera right now. I'm talking to you. That's the way that I view my videos. I'm talking to that guy sitting in the train station in Philadelphia, that guy sitting at his laptop in Germany. I'm talking to them. I just happen to be talking to that little hole up there. And that's how you should approach it. Talk to them, not at them. Have your topic ready and have rehearsed it or practiced it until you can say it clearly, definitively, and quickly, and hit all of your points, opening and ending, and keep your video short to around 5 minutes. I violate that rule. You know that. But it's because most of my stuff I'm doing content and I'm trying to give more than just the cliff notes. I'm trying to give more to my audience so they have a better understanding of the topic. It means that many of my people that watch my videos are kind of turned off by it because I go too much in detail. But you've just got to fit your audience. You know, what you're trying to say and how you're trying to say it. A lot of people want 30-second videos. To me, they're not trying to learn anything. They're just trying to like browse a catalog. There's very little I can teach you in 30 seconds other than you're on fire. You know. Okay. That's content. Now, hang on with me and we'll wrap this up. Okay, Emily. Now, once you've got the video created, you need to edit it. And YouTube provides you with that ability. You upload your video to YouTube. It gives you the option when you go to upload of saying public, private, or whatever. Initially click private. That allows you time to work with it before the general public sees it. And you can do your editing. Now the editing program is very simple. You simply drag and drop and piece things together, cutting off the parts you don't want, and it will automatically splice it together. You can also add in headers, banners, and all that stuff. This is the program that I use. Now, say you've got something complex. If you noticed in this video, I've moved to different locations. It is better, instead of making one long video where you're running around with the camera, to make several small videos and then put them together by editing out the parts you don't want. That way you can move cleanly from A to B without your audience having to watch the camera bounce everywhere and things like that, and it makes your video a lot longer than it needs to be. So you want to, you know, do it in short, do it in acts or cuts. When I started talking to you, I was in my hammock over here. I had my background set up and we discussed the hardware and the camera. Then I moved over to another background. I had stopped, went over, got everything set up, and started the camera again. Then I talked about how to frame the shot, your background, have your lighting, and etc. Next, I stopped and I moved the camera over another 10 yards out, and I sat down and angled the camera down so that I and what I was talking about was the only thing in focus. This way, you and I are closer together. You pull your audience to you and show them what we're doing, as if we were sitting across from each other at a table. And finally, I've moved the camera back over here to wrap it up and talk about editing. And we're here at the tailgate of my truck, and I've moved in probably a 50-foot circle, but it made it interesting. I've changed the background and I've changed the setting each time. I'll edit these together on YouTube. And YouTube has a very helpful staff, actually, when you explain what you're trying to do. I know you said you don't have any experience. Everybody began. I began. I did not come from a background in this. I came from a background of being a woodsman and a hunter, and I'm 50-something years old. You're a lot younger than me, and you'll learn a lot faster than I did. I hope this helps you, Emily. Looking forward to seeing your first video. Please send me a link when you do it. I'm Blackie for Shaman Forge Bushcraft, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day.